In this video, I'm going to show you how to simplify your to-do list in 5 easy steps. We all have more to do than time to do it, even when time is in abundance and things are going well, but all the more so when we are stressed out or life happens and we just feel that pinch of not knowing where to start. Now, the 5-step method that I have developed, what I call my 5Ds formula, is a super easy but powerful, impactful strategy that has fundamentally changed the way that I attempt to tackle my tasks. And so I'm so excited to share it with you. First things first, before we delve into this method, it should go without saying that you need to have a to-do list. So if you haven't already, take a few minutes, do that brain dump, get everything out of your head and down on paper. It doesn't matter whether you type up your to-do list or if you jot things down in your planner or in a piece of notebook paper, your favorite app, whatever it is, just really make sure that you have a clear running list of all of the random things that have to happen. From there, the first thing you want to do is look over your list and identify anything that you can drop. The first D in my 5 Ds to defeat despair formula is to drop anything that really isn't that important, anything that isn't actually contributing to your well-being or to your job performance or to the things that absolutely have to get done at this time. It is really important that we are firm with ourselves and that we acknowledge this limitation we all have, right? We only have a finite amount of time and we can't waste it, or we don't want to waste it doing things that really aren't pushing our own success needle forward, however you define success. So be really, really critical here. It takes some practice. I know that many of us don't want to drop anything. The whole reason we put these things down on our to-do list in the first place is because we want to do them in an ideal world. But time is only in so much supply, so we have to get very clear on what we are going to drop, at least for now. Similarly, the next step is to figure out what we can defer, what we can punt down the road for a bit. In other words, what is not absolutely urgent. It might still be important, it might need to get done at some time, but for the next week or month or so, it doesn't need to even be on our to-do list. We can just eliminate it for now, knowing that we will come back around and complete it at a later time that's more appropriate in order to save time and energy and space in our schedule for the much more important things that we have to focus on first. The third D is to delegate. What can we pass off to someone else? Now, I know that for so many of us, this is very unnatural. We either hate to ask for help, or we're worried about looking weak if we can't do it all, or we might be perfectionists, right? And not really want to trust someone else to take over a task because we think they won't do it up to our standards, right? Those are all really normal reactions, or some would argue excuses that we can come up with. But the bottom line is that just as there's only so much time, there's only so much of us, only so much energy to go around. So we really need to make sure that we are focusing on the tasks that only we can do, right? So go through your list and identify any tasks that someone else could or should be responsible for. Sometimes the reality is that this item might actually be better placed in somebody else's domain, right? Maybe somebody else could do this faster or better than we could. We all need to kind of utilize this theory of comparative advantage and spend our time specializing in what we do best, allowing somebody else to take over the things that really don't have to be within our control. The fourth D is something that has fundamentally transformed the way that I approach my different tasks. This is something that can seem really controversial, but I guarantee it will make a huge difference in freeing up the most amount of time for the things that truly matter to you. The fourth D is to dumb down anything that still needs to get done by you, but doesn't have to get done to the absolute best of your ability. There are so many things that we all maybe have on our to-do list that just ultimately need to get completed, right? And it's hard to do, but we have to force ourselves to adopt the mantra, however you say it, that good is good enough, right? Done is better than perfect. Some people find this much easier than others. A lot of people don't care about how the finished product necessarily turns out, and I envy those people because I have wasted way too much time over the years forcing things to be perfect and trying to make them a certain way, when the reality is that no matter what, there's always a way that something could be improved, and we can spend endless time trying to improve it, when in reality, we just have to cut the cord, set a deadline, make sure that we get the thing done, right? And then move on. Stop caring, stop spending any more time on it than it really, really needs. If you are trying to discern the kinds of tasks that you can dumb down, really do think about what is critical, what is absolutely contributing to your job performance, right? What are you being evaluated on? What are the things that have to happen for you personally on a daily basis? What are the things that you have to keep running for your family? What are the things that absolutely really matter to your quality of life? If something isn't directly related to those things, and yet it still needs to get done by you, then chances are you can cut a few corners or set that timer and do it in as little time as possible, right? And just get it off your plate one way or another. The fifth D is to do well the remaining items on your list. After you have run through this 5Ds formula, you should ideally only have 5, maybe 10 items or so that truly require your utmost time and attention, right? The best of you, so to speak. And these are the things that you then want to make sure you are breaking down into small, actionable steps, that you are planning them directly into your schedule and giving them an allotted time when they are going to get done. These are the things that you want to make sure and align your peak performance windows, as I talked about in this video, with when you are attempting these tasks. These are the things that are so important, but everything can't matter equally. Otherwise, nothing really matters at all, right? So you've got to get super clear on what your values are, what is truly your definition of success. And if something does not meet those criteria, then it should fall into one of the previous 4 Ds. Really go back and, go maybe a few iterations through your to-do list to make sure that you are assessing and reassessing every single task in light of these 5 different Ds. What can you drop? What can you defer? What can you delegate? What can you dumb down? And what must you do well? When are you going to do those things? And then hopefully by the end of this formula, your to-do list will be so significantly pared down that you will feel immediately lighter, more able and up to the task, literally, right, to do the things that you have to do. And you'll just ultimately feel so much more satisfaction because you won't care as much about the other things that you initially thought were ultimately going to be on your list. One other little side note here. When you are determining where something falls, right, where in this 5Ds formula a specific task fits, I want you to consider the trade-off or categories that could be created between how much time and energy a task requires. If something requires a lot of time and a lot of energy, then chances are it's really important, right? And so you want to be able to eliminate as many other tasks as possible to free up time for those big important things. If something is, going to require a lot of time, but not necessarily a lot of energy, then perhaps this is the ideal thing to delegate because you don't want to waste your time on something that is going to suck it all up without really providing that much value in return. And it is so easy, so natural for all of us to fall into this trap of doing the things that, might end up being much more time consuming than we anticipated and block ourselves out of having time for what ultimately matters. Another consideration is to make sure that you are not wasting your time on things that are super fast and easy to do, right? So there's a danger when we are tackling our to-do lists to first and foremost try and cross off any of the small, little, quick, easy wins that we could get and or turn to something that is automatically more fun. These are, again, really natural, self-explanatory ways of how we might manage the many tasks that we have. But at the end of the day, we are hurting our productivity and hurting our time management if we are spending the time that we have doing these little nitpicky things at the expense of tackling the truly big, important ones. All right, I hope that you got a lot of great ideas from this 5Ds formula. I have compiled all of it into a free Pinpoint Your Priorities workbook that walks you through not only what these 5Ds are, but some specific worksheets that can guide you to classifying the tasks on your to-do list into the 5 categories. So definitely check the link in the description. You can download it for free, and I just know that it will really help clarify where you should start when you have too much to do. And that's how to simplify your to-do list. Definitely give this 5Ds formula a try because I know it will make such a difference for you. Don't forget to snag my Pinpoint Your Priorities workbook. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure and subscribe for new videos every week on planning, prioritizing, productivity, time management, and that elusive thing we call work-life balance. Then jump straight into these other videos for even more of my top tips. Have a great day. I'll see you back soon.